lenses, and Roman Federer not letting the three-time MX2 world champion out of his sights.
Well, and on paper, before this event, when you look at the balance of the teams and really try to assess the strength of the teams, I mean, we probably would both agree that France and Netherlands look really good. They were first and second last year with France winning and Netherlands second. And just by a point, Netherlands was second. But so right now, as they run, France runs first, Netherlands third. Australia has just picked up a point, and that puts them second.
Yeah, because Gibbs is right there. Lawrence is now up into ninth. But Federer being told to breathe there by his pit crew down in pit lane. So all motos to count at this stage, Jeff. 24 on the board for France, 37 for the Netherlands, 38 Australia. Roman Federer, the fastest rider on the racetrack that time around, a 2:41.8. That was more than a second or two quicker. And look at Lawrence, he's all over the back of Osborne here. So Lawrence putting in another fantastic performance, and up the inside of Osborne, elbow to elbow, drag race. Keeps it nice and low. Osborne bounces on the landing, and Hunter. Wow, these two bar to bar, not leaving anything on the table as they charge downhill after Harry Koulas, I think that was possibly. Tano Leok actually, and Osborne coming off worse.
And that's another point to look at the rookie, Hunter Lawrence. Just outstanding.
2 places in 2 corners for the young 18-year-old. Definitely putting himself in the shop window. Of course, a lot of rumors around that Suzuki, may not be around next year, and obviously this kid might need a ride. So he's definitely putting himself in the shop window. So as it stands at the moment, 23 minutes plus 2 to go. Hurlings leads, Federer second, Gibbs of Australia third. His teammate here is now up to 6th. The pace of Hunter Lawrence is outstanding. He's already at the end of the straight here, and putting some distance between himself, Tano Leok on the 450, and number 8, Zach Osborne. Osborne won't like that. And actually, Hunter Lawrence said he did tighten up a little bit yesterday, started making mistakes when he could see Osborne closing in. And so for him, mentally, that is a great move to find his way past Osborne there, because that puts everything to right in his mind. Still plenty of time left, though. Look at him around that turn. He's just riding like, he's just throwing everything out there. Hurlings 2:41.1, 2/10 quicker than Federer. That is the fastest lap of the race. Kurt Gibbs will cross the line any moment now for Team Australia.
Well, and I mean, right now you see with Hurlings is out front. He's staying clean, no extra weight on the front of his bike, on his helmet. And so for Federer, it looks like he's right there, like he wants to make a charge, but every time he's going to get close, he's going to get roosted. Now, we know that it's going to be difficult because of the moisture in the air to keep the goggles on, right? But it's going to be even more difficult if you're constantly getting roosted. So it's like Federer needs to figure out if there's a spot on the track where he's actually quicker, take a chance of getting right up on the rear tire of Hurlings if he can, and then make the pass stick. Because if not, you just can't sit there for 36 minutes and just keep taking roost. You will not have enough tear-offs or roll-offs on your goggles. You can already see, I mean, the top of his helmet is just completely brown with mud.
And the other thing as well, the radiator's getting filled in, and then the bike having a tendency to overheat. We've still got 21 minutes plus 2 laps to go. These two already about 15 seconds clear of the Australian Kurt Gibbs, who's definitely announcing himself on the biggest stage of all. Lupino is about 2 seconds behind for Team Italy. Where is...
Hurlings is down.
Loses a place and loses his wheels in the process. So Hurlings now just picks himself up and has to rejoin the race. And watch this in a moment. So Hurlings, watch
let's
this.
see what happens. So he comes over here and watch. Oh, he almost endos, slides down.
Hitting the back brake on the landing.
And let's see here.
So Dirk Grubel, the technical director down there at Red Bull KTM during the World Championship season. Obviously just keep up on the pegs. How cool was that?
Yeah,
that's
wow. How you ride this event here. Learned that, what was it, back in 2006 when we saw Stefan Everts ride this track. Basically didn't sit down the whole time through any of those off cameras.
So we have a new race leader. It is Romain Febvre in for France. He pops up over the Tag Heuer triple jump here.
Oh, Febvre's got his goggles off.
Yes. Well,
wow.
That's the thing. He's got clear track now. That's why.
I mean, it's only been 11 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, he has a clear track until he catches a lap rider, right?
But at the moment,
and
he's not got anything,
wow.
you know. But look how long and deep those ruts are at the end of that final straight, dropping in the final turn back onto the start straight. The gap between him and Hurlings is 4.4 seconds. Kurt Gibbs is still there in third. He's only 14 seconds behind Jeffrey Hurlings, 18 off the lead. Lupino still good in Italy for Italy in fourth place. Charlier has been passed, though, by Hunter Lawrence. Lawrence is up to fifth and is again the lead MX2 rider, Jeff. What a debut he's having for Team Australia in this event. Christophe Charlier is sixth for France, Osborne seventh for the USA. His teammate, Thomas Covington, is in 29th place.
Well, you got to think that the leader of the Australian team there, Gary Benn and Michael Byrne, assistant team manager, they have to be very happy with what this team, the results and the effort that they're putting out right now. Gibbs just got a great start running third. Hunter Lawrence on the MX2 has just worked his way through the pack. He's passed Osborne. He's passed Charlier. Charlier's taken off his goggles now.
And here's Febvre.
There's his teammate Febvre out front.
Yeah, that's where Hurlings crashed a lap ago. Looked like he got a kick and just tried to save it, but just came up short on the landing and obviously tried to hit the back brake to save it. But he's got to pull out all the stops if he is to get the Netherlands on the top. I mean, just looking at the scores there, Jeff, we have a 3. France have scored a 3rd, a 13th, a 6th, and currently leading at the moment in this second race. They are on 24, 10 clear of Australia. Australia have had a 22, a 4, a 5, and a 3. But you take away that 22 of Australia, all of a sudden 9, 10, 11, 12 points on the board for them. And 9, 10 on the board for France. So they are still very much in this thing. There's Kurt Gibbs. He's got Lupino closing in on him. So Team Italy are looking to pick off a point here from Kurt Gibbs of Australia. So the number 24 in the green and gold, putting in a great performance himself. And actually, Dean Ferris, you know, didn't get the result that he wanted in the first race in the MXGP category, 22nd. And it's the rookies for Team Australia that are putting in the performance. A 4th in race 1 for Hunter Lawrence. He's currently 5th in race 2. And Kurt Gibbs here is 3rd. The last time they're on the podium, of course, was at Saint-Jean-d'Angely in 2011.
Pretty good ride there. Lupino really starting to pick it up. His best has been a 2:44.7, which is about a second a lap quicker than what Gibbs is just there in front of him. So he's got the pace. We'll see as he gets closer if he gets slowed down a little bit by that muddy roost coming off the back of Gibbs' bikes, or if he's got some lines and he can take advantage of it.
With Tony Cairoli looking on because he's feeling pretty good that his teammate is right there in 4th, just there, in fact, number 15. But Febvre leads, Hurling 2nd. Gibbs here is 3rd, looks over his shoulder, sees the Italian Lupino right there. Charlier is back into 5th for France. Lawrence down to 6th, Osborne 7. Wilson is up to 8th for GB. Down to 9th goes Leo. Up to 10th is Sinai for Puerto Rico. He's found his way past Strybos of Belgium, who is now in 11th place. 12th is Thomas Kjær-Olsen. Boger's up to 13. Dennis Ulrich down to 14. Then we've got the second of the Italian riders, Michele Chervelin, in 15th. The Canadian, Tyler Medalia, is 16th. 17th is Stefan Kjær-Olsen. Jeremy Seawer having a shocker in 18th for Switzerland. Freddie Norrin and Tommy Searle in 20th place. So Tommy Searle, the second of the British guys down there for GB, and they need to throw away that 37th in race 1. He wants to try and improve on that 20th position. The battle for 3rd, though, getting hot, Jeff.
Yeah, and basically, like we mentioned, for Great Britain and Team USA, they had a 37th and a 38th in Moto 1. Right now, Tommy Searle for Great Britain running 20th, and looking at the American, you have to go all the way back to 26th to find Thomas Covington right now. And unfortunately, if it's anything better than a 38, Team USA is going to have to count it, and it's going to be a big number. Currently, as they run, Team USA is 11, Great Britain is 7.
Up over the now triple single. Siwa is in for new goggles. Jeremy Siwa was 17th, rather good. Point there is 14.5 plus 2 to go. He does have clear goggles again. He might be able to use that to his advantage just to pick off a couple more places. But how does that unfold? I mean, they've already got some pretty big scores. They got a 5th in the first race with Arno Toners, but they've got an 18th, a 21st, and a 17th to count at the moment for Team Switzerland.
Back to your leader, number 3, Roman Febvre, of course. Part of all 3 of these winning, I'm sorry, the last 2 Motocross of Nations wins for Team France.
Look at that time of Jeffrey Hurlings. He was 4.4 seconds down a lap ago, and he was 0.3 quicker than Febvre. Febvre, all of a sudden, 1.9 seconds with Hurlings crossing the line, 2:39.7 compared to the 41.9 of Febvre, and all of a sudden, it is game on. Jeffrey Hurlings is going after the win. He is now starting to apply the pressure to Romain Febvre, Team France.
I was trying to see if Hurlings still has his goggles on. He would be one of the few riders out there that still has them on. If he does, here we'll get a closer look right
Yeah, he still does. And he would have started the race with 2 sets of goggles on as well. We saw it in Russia. We've seen it in the past before. Get through the first turn, throw off the second pair possibly, but don't recall him throwing off the set. But there's Febvre charging downhill. He knows the pressure is on, but he comes alive in this event, Jeff. We saw it at Ernée in his World Championship winning year when he just cruised to a double moto victory, won the class. Hurlings dealing with traffic. That's one of the Slovenian riders there of Jan Pancher or Peter Eert. But Hurlings, this is where he fell. Short again, but he has got Romain Febvre well and truly in his sights. Hunter Lawrence has gone down to 7th because Osborne of the USA has found his way past the young Australian. So a late charge for Zach Osborne of the Team USA as he goes after Christophe Charlier, trying to minimize the damage. That's all he can do with Covington buried in 26th place, Jeff, because 2 high scores is going to all but end it for Team USA.
Yeah, I mean, and even the chance of making the top 5 or a podium right now, Team USA run 11th. 80 points. I mean, that's just not going to get it done. But France leading the way with 23, and the next closest is 34 points from the Netherlands. So
Team USA
France
will be
in a
on
very comfortable position right now.
Yeah, 42 will be USA if you drop the 38. And that's already a big number, like you say. But here's Christophe Charlier. The guy behind him will be Zach Osborne. There he is, coming up the hill, goggleless as well for the American. But just letting it all hang out. Absolutely got nothing to lose here. Zach Osborne, all he can do is just put in a good account and feel pleased with the way he rode. Didn't make great starts. And this is the nature of this event. They put maybe Covington up the inside, and Osborne would have been on the outside gate pick. So, you know, sort of around 20, 23, something like that. Febvre, though, responding. He has now gone out to 2.4, so he gains half a second on Jeffrey Hurlings on lap 6. 11 minutes plus 2 laps to go. Febvre leads for France. Hurlings, Netherlands, Gibbs of Australia, Lupino, Charlier, Italy, and France. The rain continues to fall. It's a light drizzle out there on track. Heading uphill over the fullback bridge is Romain Febvre just here. Behind him is number 6 for the Netherlands, Jeffrey Hurlings, trying to make up for that earlier mistake when he was leading. He fell on the iPone jump in the background. It was a simple fall. He came up short. It could have been so much worse, though, Jeff Emig, because he looked like he was trying to get that back wheel down after getting a pitch on takeoff. Yeah,
but he's recovered well. He's put on a good charge right now. I mean, still 10 minutes plus 2 laps, so lots of time left. But I mean, the way that Febvre is maneuvering through these ruts, whoa! Here we go back to Osborne and Lawrence.
So not done yet between these two. 3 MX2 riders in a row. French rider Christophe Charlier, American Zach Osborne, and the green and gold of Hunter Lawrence just there. This is the battle for MX2.
Charlier, Osborne, Lawrence right there. Oh, and now the battle for the lead starting to tighten up as Herlings applying the pressure. This is where there's thousands of fans lining the fence down through here.
Nice line there for Herlings. Looks to go wide. He wants to keep that momentum going. Nobody going triple this time around, Jeff, just like they were yesterday. Wow, he's done well to bridge that 2.4 second deficit, has Jeffrey Herlings, as he goes after Romain Febvre. Fans are on their feet. They are getting a great race between these two. Kurt Gibbs is still in third, still holding off Alessandro Lupino of Italy. Christophe Charlier, Zach Osborne, Hunter Lawrence, all blocked together. 3 MX2 riders in 5th, 6th, and 7th. Dean Wilson for GB is in 8th, but he's 10 seconds down on the 250 boys. Tano Leok is 9 for Estonia. Thomas Kjær Olsen for Denmark is in 10th. Osborne has gone back past, has found his way past Charlier, according to our timing screen. So another point pulled back for Team USA. Osborne letting it all hang out, and Herlings just getting held up by a back marker. It was 2.4 at the end of lap 6. Lap 7 in the bag now. A 2:42.1, a 41.3. The gap now 1.7. Herlings is continuing to push Romain Febvre in the closing stages of race 2.
Yeah, still lots of time left right here. And so for Febvre, he just has to make sure that he's hitting his lines, not make any big mistakes. And like I mentioned in Moto 1, is you really have to look ahead. You have to anticipate where the slower riders, the lap riders are going to be. You have to use your instincts of how they're going to flow around the track, because the last thing that Febvre wants to do is get caught behind another rider in one of those ruts, because some of these ruts, let's face it, you get in that line, there's no getting out of it. And if a rider falls in front of you or is just flat out slower, you're basically going to have to slow up and wait for it.
Febvre has not buckled under the pressure yet. Herlings, just watch the difference in styles here. How much Herlings is on the pegs through some of the longer corners over on the far side, sitting down right at the last minute. But while it's effective, Romain Febvre is just using raw talent just to get himself out of trouble. Here's Hunter Lawrence, I think. Oh no, there's goggleless Romain Febvre.
Well, look how much mud is on the top of his helmet. It really weighs your helmet down, really strains your neck. But right now, this is Charlier.
Yeah. And is that Covington being lapped?
I'm sorry, that
Team
is,
USA.
yeah.
So here's Febvre. He is leading the race, and Thomas Covington is
25th. He's getting lapped.
Wow. 2 crashes right in the early stages of the race.
Yeah, that'll cost you. But in that MX2 division, you've got...
we see that Lawrence has found his way past Christophe Charlier, and was it a mistake from the Frenchman?
So Charlier goes a little wide. Lawrence just really aggressive on the inside.
No goggles for the pair of them.
Yeah, but also looking at timing and scoring, Osborne has now worked his way up to 5th. So he's, after there was a time where those 250 riders, MX2 riders, were kind of swapping positions, but Osborne, the American, has gone through.
6 minutes to go then. Plus 2 laps, a little short on landing there, Romain Febvre, just a little bit to the left. Gets pitched out of the seat as he exits that turn. Nothing in it now. Herlings has got Febvre in his sights. I think that was Martin Barr of Team Ireland just ahead of him as they hit the line just a moment ago, so he's getting ready to be lapped.
Wow,
nice.
Let's see if he carries some momentum. Oh, he is. He's going for it. Going for the jugular.
Herlings takes the lead from Febvre in dramatic fashion. He scrubbed his way over the 2 tabletops and then was just aggressive on the brakes going down into the final turn. Watch this.
So really sets it up over the finish line double. Goes over this massive tabletop, just carries a lot of speed, and he was totally committed. Watch him just locking up the rear brake right there, trying to get stopped, and just boxes Febvre out.
Febvre had no reply. A new leader once again then, and it's Jeffrey Herlings. This time he'll try to get his head down. He has got goggles on, one of the few riders to be wearing goggles, Jeff Emming, so he's obviously doing something right, Jeffrey Hurlings.
It's definitely an advantage out there. You can see on our camera lens how that the drizzle just gets on your lens, and once that gets on your eyes, without goggles, it makes it really tough to see.
Lupino is up to third for Team Italy. He's just found his way past Kurt Gibbs. Zach Osborne is fifth. Lawrence is sixth. They're separated by about a second. Lawrence, though, was quicker that time around with seconds to Lawrence. He's now in seventh for France. Dean Wilson is in eighth for Great Britain, and still 10 seconds down on Charlier. We wait for Tanel Layout to come over the line. He goes through now in ninth, and then Thomas Kjær-Olsen right behind him in 10th position. Jeremy Seaworth's got himself up a couple of positions after coming in for a goggle stop. He's now in 15th.
Well, and if there's you know, for France to give up that position, right, so it's worth 1 point right there. They've got an 8-point difference over the Netherlands right now, so they got a nice cushion. I mean, France has turned in some outstanding rides. They were third, 14th in the first race. First are going to be 7th and 2nd as they run right now.
Here's Lupino. This has been a fantastic ride. The last time he was on the team for Team Italy, they made the podium in Teufelstal 2013. Alongside him were David Philippots and Antonio Cairoli that day. Cairoli was out in race 1 earlier. He took 11th in the first moto. He'll be pleased at his best buddy here. Lupino is up there doing the best he can, and he's in third place. And he's all, where is he? Oh, he's about a minute down on the battle with Febvre and Hurlings. Hurlings now leading the way, though. 3 minutes to go, plus 2 laps. And France lead the way in the overall classification on 26. The Netherlands next on 32. Australia are third on 36. The drizzle, the rain continues to fall. The cloud getting lower, hovering over the spectators on the far side of the circuit. The ruts getting longer and deeper. The bumps getting higher as well and more critical. But Febvre making it look very easy in second place.
Yeah, we saw Fevre's mechanic give him the signboard there. It said concentrate, 4 laps. Of course, at this point, I mean, he wanted to win the race. Hurlings has put out a great effort, but for Febvre and Team France, right now it's really important for Febvre to be cool and not make any mistakes and cost himself that second place that they have going at the moment.
So Hurlings leads then. That gap now 3.3 seconds between the Dutchman and the French rider here, Romain Febvre. Lupino about a minute back at the end of the previous lap. These two are the only guys who have completed 9 laps. And as we say that, Lupino hits the line 1 minute 11 down. And he's lapping some 7 seconds a lap slower than the 2 leaders here. Kurt Gibbs of Australia is 4th. He's still being pushed by his teammate now. So Lawrence can find his way up another place past his teammate. That won't affect the classification there. They will still score 9 points between them in this race, with a 4th of Gibbs and Lawrence in 5th place. So even if they switch positions, but what you would expect is for the team to say is let Hunter by, just so he can get a little bit of clear space between himself and Zach Osborne.
Yeah, but that's a pretty amazing ride by Hunter Lawrence. I mean, he's been battling.
He's found a way through, I think, since then. Bottom of the hill, yeah. So at the top of the hill there, look, is Hunter Lawrence, the first of the green and gold guys. He is in 4th. This has been an absolute phenomenal display from Hunter Lawrence on a light bike, a 250, an MX2 machine, whichever you want to call it, here in the muddy conditions.
And they're only a couple seconds behind Lupino. Like, Hunter Lawrence, if he keeps moving at the pace that he's on, he could be looking at a 3rd.
Well, look at his lap time. A 2:48 last time around. Lupino 2:52, 4 seconds slower. He will be on the back of the Italian in no time at all and challenging for a pass next time around.
Just outstanding out of the rookie.
Here is Christophe Charlier. He is in 2nd, and you've got to think that Hunter Lawrence is riding a Jeremy Seaworth spec MX2 machine the last couple of races, because he's definitely been turning on the style in the US and in France, and right here now as well in the Motocross of Nations at his first attempt. There's Kurt Gibbs for Australia, heavy landing for the number 24, who gets rid of his goggles with 2 laps to go next time around. he'll be pleased with this. In fact, he had the qualifying race jitters yesterday with a J. And just legging his way.
Paddling it through there. It's going to cost him a little bit as he loses his rhythm, but at least he doesn't put it on the mat.
Look at the pace of his teammate. He passed him less than a lap ago. And Hunter Lawrence is all over the back of Lupino here. He's going up to third position in the closing stages. Lupino cruising around that long off camber for Team Italy, who are in danger of losing a point. And look at the line choice.
Goes down. Wow.
He almost lost it, though, just trying to get into the rhythm there.
Like you mentioned, his pace is 4 seconds a lap quicker than what Lupino was on. And I mean, Lupino's had an outstanding race, and then here comes this 18-year-old kid from Australia, and it's just, he's letting it all hang out right now. He's having the time of his life here on the motocross's biggest stage, and he's looking outstanding.
Yeah, I was talking to him at breakfast.
Look at these lines that he has right here.
And he was just saying that, actually to have a motocross of nations here, in England, Great Britain, is just the best thing because of the language and everything else and blah, blah, blah. But 2:50, it was still 3 seconds quicker than Lupino. This is going to be Hunter Lawrence making a move any moment now. He's got a different line to everybody else around that final turn. He must have passed his teammate between here and turn 3 last time around, so I imagine he'll do the same here to Lupino. Approaching turn 2, up on the pegs.
Well, there's going to be 3 laps to go.
Line. Oh, he surfs his way across the top of it.
He's just going for it. I love it.
Round the outside of Lupino. Tyre hooking up.
Tries the outside again. Outside. He's not following. He's being super aggressive.
There's Gibbs. Gibbs is still there in 5th place. So this is still a 9-point score for Team Australia. Puts them within 5 points of the Netherlands.
Here he comes down the inside. He's used this line before, trying to be aggressive. Oh, he switches out, which is really difficult in all those long ruts, but this kid is just not following one bit, and he's going to make the pass. See if he can make it stick. Lupino slams the door, gets back to the inside rut.
Yeah, 450 just out dragging the 250 there up the hill just when he needed the power. Just let him down.
I mean, how can Hunter Lawrence even see at this point? Because he's just all over the back of Lupino's bike. The roost has got to be flying in his face. He's probably riding half of the lap with his eyes closed or his visor down where he can't even see what he's doing. It's just all on feel.
Impressive, to say the least. Having another look around the outside, keeping the momentum high on that 250. Doubles his way in nice and neat.
Lupino misses the rhythm.
Mistake. And Lawrence goes through. They almost bang bars at the end of the rhythm section. And Lawrence is up to 3rd.
That's a 3rd. And he was, I'm going to say he was outside of the top 10 off the start.
Well outside. He was about 17th. He was almost 20th position. Watch this here. So first of all, making that mistake in the final turn. And I don't know what he's doing. He's just, he probably thinks he's a lapper at that point, but
not really sure. But he makes the pass stick right here. Yeah, Lupino has to just nudge the front wheel out of the way so that they don't touch, and which is a great ride for Lupino right now in 4th. But
fantastic ride for him.
For Lawrence to be on this on the 250F in the MX2 division, to ride up to 3rd place in this with the conditions like they are. Wow, this is so impressive out of this young Australian.
Wow. You know what? If you threw away the results, if you threw away the worst score at the moment, France would be on 12. So with all races counting at the moment, Jeff, 26 for France, Netherlands 30, Australia 35. Throw away the worst scores. So 14th for France, 12th for the Netherlands, and 22nd for Australia. France would lead on 12, Australia 13, and the Netherlands on 18.
Wow. And taking a look at Osborne there, number 6, and he's followed by Kurt Gibbs. Lawrence is down.
Lawrence is down, pushing too hard.
That's going to cost him big time.
He is facing the wrong way as well, and he's in danger of losing the MX2. Watch this. Oh, we just got the end of it. Finds his way past Lupino, does all the hard work, and just pulls a 180. And Osborne goes through as the lead MX2 guy for the USA. So Lupino will go back to third, Osborne fourth. I wonder if Gibbs goes through in fifth as well. Let's have a look. There's Lawrence. Yeah, he's got Dean Wilson just ahead of him. That was a costly error for the young Australian.
So that's going to put him probably
eighth, maybe.
Ninth.
We'll soon see.
Lawrence, that is.
Well, that's a gift for Dean Wilson and Team Great Britain, just when they needed one in the closing stage of the race. But you've got to think that the way that Lawrence was riding, his pace was quicker than Wilson's. He might just find his way back past the Scot riding for Team Great Britain. Oh, Lupino using all of that balance to get him through that long off-camber. We're on the final lap. Jeffrey Hurling's already through. Romain Febvre through. 8.8 seconds behind. We are waiting for Lupino. Here he is. He's in third. He was more than a minute down.
I believe this is Kervelin, the number 14.
Oh, yeah, sorry, Kervelin. Yeah, so Lupino, 15
seconds. Sorry.
But he's still in third place, though, is Alessandro Lupino. There's Hurlings. And there's Febvre heading uphill, the lead rider in that shot.
About 8 seconds off the lead.
We just wait then for... well, that changes Australia's score then. We wait for Lawrence to come over the line now. You cannot fault the effort that he put in, though, Jeff, at all.
Well, and
Paulo Alberto, I think the 62 there for Portugal.
They got pretty close there to Hurlings as they came through.
Hurlings, though, mastering the mud here in Moto number 2 on the final lap. He knows, because this is where he fell earlier in the race, that he cannot afford to switch off and relax. It is tricky conditions out there. When we did the parade lap, I'm not sure if you actually went on the racetrack section, Jeff, but it was very, very slippery under the rear, under the rear tire, and these guys here making it look very easy.
Well, and one of the advantages that Hurlings has right now, he still has his goggles on. I mean, with the way the moisture and that drizzle is coming down, that is a massive, massive advantage. I'm not sure I've seen another rider out there in the last 10 minutes or so that actually has his goggles on. See the lap rider in front of him, he's got his goggles around his left arm.
Old school.
They're not very effective when they're hanging off your elbow.
No. And that'll be the Spaniard, I think, Iker Laranaga. Possibly. 36, I think it was, so if that was him, then yes. But here's Romain Febvre. Jeffrey Hurling's already dropping down into the valley for the final time. Here he is. And Jeffrey Hurling's, of course, last year in Maggiore, stepped up to the 450 Jeff Emig. He was all over the back of Jason Anderson, who was making it very difficult for the Dutchman. He made the mistake, Jeffrey Hurlings, in the second half of the race and had to settle for a second, but he did go on to win the final moto. And here he is, starting out with a win in Moto number 2 and a win on 1 point for the Netherlands. Jeffrey Hurling salutes the crowd over there to the left, and he is in a good place right now. Where is his teammate Brian Voges? In 9th place. So the Netherlands will pick up 10 points. We'll do the maths coming into the final race, Jeff, in terms of how many points, but Romain Febvre crosses the line 13 seconds down. So this result between these two from the open qualifying race exactly the same as it was yesterday. Hurling's winning and Febvre second. This is Kervelin for Team Italy. His teammate probably just a little bit further up. Kervelin probably a lap down, number 14 in 23rd place, so that's not Lupino. In fact, Osborne has got himself in the 3rd according to our timing. Wow. So that would be a great result for Zach Osborne at the expense of Hunter Lawrence, but you have to be in it to win it.
Yeah, that is a late race charge.
The guy ahead of this fella here in blue is Zach Osborne. Zach Osborne around the turn is actually in 3rd place. So there is the American. That's been
he has made up some serious time in the closing laps, probably the last 3 laps.
That is a hard slog for Osborne. He should bring it home for 3 points for the Team USA. Be an interesting final race. As Osborne heads up the hill then to pick up 3 points for Team USA. His teammate Thomas Covington will more than likely cross the line in 22nd place after an error-strewn race. Osborne making up for a not a poor opening race, but by your standards, Jeff, you know, you expected more. But here is Jeffrey Hurlings, your winner from race 2.
Jeffrey Hurlings, congratulations, another race win. You took the whole shot, great start, but I thought you'd thrown it away on that jump, but you were committed to getting that lead back.
Yeah, you know, I had a really good start. Came out first and then pulled a little gap, and then, you know, track was really slick because of the rain, and then made a small crash and lost a few seconds, got back to second, and then took my time to get some good lines and managed to overtake Romain and win the first motor, so that was good.
Okay. Thank you.
Jeffrey Hurlings wins race 2, but keeping the Netherlands in the hunt. 18 points they would be on if you drop the worst result. France would be on 11 points, and Australia would be on, what, 12, 17 points, so they're still very much in the mix, at least for a podium. Everybody else has got some serious work to do, but a great ride for Jeffrey Hurlings for the Netherlands. Official confirmation coming up in a moment, but I tell you what, I think Hunter Lawrence has won the MX2 individual category, and that is because he got a 4th in race 1 and 8th in race 2. That's 12 points for him. Osborne 10th and a 3rd, 13 points for him. So Jeffrey Hurlings then your winner from race 2 for the Netherlands. Febvre, France 2nd, Osborne USA 3rd, Lupino Italy 4th, Gibbs Australia 5, Charlier,
MXGP
Wilson, and Lawrence, Bogus, Thomas Kjær Olsen, Tenno Layout, Kevin Strybos, and Darian Sanai, with Jeremy Seawer, Tommy Searle getting up to 15th place. That leaves Britain in 5th at the moment, and they can throw away a 37. 2 good scores in the final race, though, could change everything for all of these teams, and that's exactly what they'll be doing. But, of course, USA can't afford any more mistakes. GB can't afford any mistakes. USA down in 10th as it stands right now, with all results counting. Remember, you can throw away your highest score in terms of the general classification. So, we have an interesting final race to look forward to, and as always, Jeff, here's the points at the moment with all 4 scores counting. France 5 clear of the Netherlands, who are 9 clear of Australia. Then look at the high scores of everybody else.
Yeah, it climbs pretty quickly, and France is looking really good because right now their highest score is a 14th, Charlier's first moto. And Netherlands, their highest score is a 22. Australia, their highest is a 17.
So France looking good for another win. Turn tight, got the foxhole shot coming out of the first turn, and Febvre was right there with him, so too Leon and Kurt Gibbs as well. Dennis Ulrich was in there for a while, but Covington went down, not for the first time. He was caught in a clash there with the Canadian. He went down again. At that point, he was down in about 37th place of 38.
Yeah, he was trying to battle his way through. And then this is when your leader, Jeffrey Hurlings, goes down. He gets up pretty quick, but that allows Romain Febvre to go by. Hurlings would remount and make a charge. But the main rider, the most impressive rider charging through there was Hunter Lawrence, and then Hurlings makes this move on Febvre to take the win.
Yeah, that was the one that was decisive. He made up for that mistake and opened a gap to more than 13 seconds in the end. This was Hunter Lawrence getting into 3rd with that pass on Lupino, but then a lap later he fell going through turn 1.
I mean, it's not surprising. I mean, he was riding so fast and so loose. At some point, you're like, something's got to give, and it certainly did. But the dominating ride was by Jeffrey Hurlings.
Fox hole shot time then, and as we saw, a clear as day hole shot in second moto, and it was Jeffrey Hurlings. Let's take a look at how he did it. Crossing the Fox hole shot line by more than a couple of bike lengths there, Jeffrey Hurlings. Another €1,000 in his back pocket. He'll be pleased with that. Jason Beescroft hanging the check to Jeffrey Hurlings. Koldenhoff has one. Look at that. 2 Red Bull KTM riders on 450s bagging the Fox loot, Jeff.
I guess the only thing that's left is for their third rider, Tony Cairoli, who had the most hole shots in MXGP this season, for him to nab one, and then they'll just clear the board, and that'll be it.
Well, talking about the Fox hole shot competition, it was Jorge Prado and Tony Cairoli who, between them, bagged 29 hole shots throughout the season.
Pretty impressive.
It was an impressive second moto, especially for Jeffrey Hurlings. Hunter Lawrence just coming up short, but France lead going into race 3. Right, Jeff Emig and I will be back at the top of the hour, 4 o'clock, so in about 36 minutes, 36 minutes time. We'll see you then.
Hop là. Allez, on va se faire un petit peu de MXGP3 pendant la petite demi-heure de transition entre les deux manches, entre les deux dernières manches. Mince. J'ai oublié de faire un petit truc. Voilà. Dieu. On va faire autrement. What the fuck. Là. Qu'est-ce qu'on va se faire? Oh bah motocross des nations, tant qu'à faire. Allez. On va taire les bassins. Sur la course. Aléatoire. Quinzaine de tours. En réaliste. Et puis voilà. Submission mec. Là. Et on va rouler avec notre Mafèvre national. N'hésitez pas à réagir dans les commentaires, ceux qui sont là. Hop là. Ah merde, j'ai pas de son sur la... J'ai pas de son dans le casque. Ouais. On va juste faire un petit truc pour que vous ayez le son au moins. Tac. Ok. Merci beaucoup. De rien, Emilia. Bienvenue à toi si c'est la première fois. Je ne sais pas que je t'ai déjà vu sur un de mes lives ou quoi que ce soit. Bienvenue. Dites-moi si ça bug dans les commentaires. Hop, merde. Tac. Alors, donc désolé pour ce petit imprévu. On y retourne. Hop là. On va dégager un petit peu mais rien du tout. Bon visionnage, bonjour à tous. Ils sont encore là malgré la pause, donc c'est pas un petit commentaire là. J'espère qu'il y a d'autres infos chez vous. Ah, merci Emilia. Voilà, dans 20 minutes. Dans 20 minutes. Enfin, 16 minutes maintenant. 16. Voilà. C'est pas simple de regarder les commentaires. Oh putain. Allez, c'est reparti les gars. Il nous reste... Il nous reste 1 minute avant que ça recommence, donc je vais remettre... Je vais remettre la vue sur la première scène, voilà, la scène habituelle. Donc c'est reparti dans 45 secondes. On va mettre le son au bon endroit et ça va pouvoir repartir d'ici peu.
Well, the way before the riders out on track now, some of them staying in the pit box, a few out on the track to get their starting lap in, ladies and gentlemen. Wow, third and final race today, and this is everyone.
Ah, bug de son. Petit bug de son, d'accord. Et c'est reparti, allez.
Welcome back to Matterley Basin for the final race of the afternoon, race 3, MXGP and Open class riders, everybody on the big bikes. And as always, the 71st edition of the Monster Energy FIM Motocross of Nations presented by Fiat Professional could be decided, well, it will be decided in this race. It just depends on what happens between the two teammates. In this one, France are with Gauthier Paulin and Roman Fevre. The Netherlands with Glenn Koldenhoff and Jeffrey Hurlings. Australia with Dean Ferris and Kurt Gibbs. With the Americans, Cole Seeley and Thomas Covington. Max Anstey and Dean Wilson go up for GB, but there are 1 or 2 spoilers in there as well. Jeremy Van Horebeke, Kevin Strybos, Tony Cairoli, Tim Geiser in terms of individual scores. Jeff Emig alongside me, Paul Malin, and it's hard to believe that it's 15 degrees out there. It's miserable outside, drizzly and windy, and the track in a bit of a sorry state compared to what it was yesterday with all the action that we've had today. But Jeff Emig, race 3, the final showdown. It's hard to see Passe France taking 4 in a row. We'll see why now, because here's our highlights from race 2 coming up. Race 1 and race 2, I'm sorry. It's been a long day, a tough day at the office so far for all these riders. Right, let's take a look at the highlights now from race 1 and race 2 so far. The first race of the afternoon was MXGP and MX2. It was a flying start for Glenn Koldenhoff up the inside. He narrowly took the foxhole shot away from Max Anstey, Great Britain, and Gauthier Paulin, but it was Anstey who led going into turn 2. Yeah, coming down the first start straight there, Anstey was just really aggressive, puts Great Britain right out front to the delight of this home crowd. Cairoli was in 4th, but he tried to get inside Paulin just too early. He just tipped over. He would remount in 12th place, would only come home in 11th. Meanwhile, Team USA and the Americans having problems. Just Cole Seeley, number 7 on the Honda, goes down. He was running about 11th at that point, and his problems would continue. Here is Koldenhoff making a mistake
allowing Arnaud Tonis to go by.
Yeah, he was in third at that point. And then this is Seeley, the rear suspension collapsed. He almost took out the race leader, Max Anstey, but he managed to keep a 10-second advantage over Gauthier Paulin, who got caught and passed by Tim Geiser. The Slovenian got himself into second, but it was Anstey who was victorious in race 1 for GB. Geiser second, Paulin third. Hunter Lawrence was the first MX2 guy in fourth for Australia. In race 2, just a short while ago, it was Jeffrey Hurlings who recovered from almost looping out down the start straight to take the second foxhole shot of the day from Romain Febvre of France. Third in the background there in the green was Kurt Gibbs. He found his way past the Estonian Tanel Leot and Dennis Ulrich as Thomas Covington had problems. Would be down in 35th place at the end of the first lap.
Meanwhile, Covington rebounds, makes another big mistake, and then this is your leader, Jeffrey Hurlings, going down. He rebounds pretty quick, but Romain Febvre from France would go by and take the lead.
Hunter Lawrence was putting in a great charge for Australia. He found his way past Charlier to get himself up into 5th, but Jeffrey Hurlings charged down the inside of Febvre on lap 9 to get himself back into the lead.
Meanwhile, Lawrence was not done. He was charging. This is passing Lupino on the 450 to go into third, and then a big mistake in the final laps. Hands over that spot. Meanwhile, Zach Osborne for America would ride up to third.
It was a win for Jeffrey Hurlings of the Netherlands. Febvre, Osborne and Lupino rounded out the top 4. Kurt Gibbs, a great ride for Australia. And coming into this final race, if you count all 4 scores, Jeff, France lead the way on 25, the Netherlands on 30, Australia on 39, Switzerland 55, and Great Britain on 60, tied with Belgium. Let's go down to the grid, though. Lisa Lehnen caught up with Gauthier Paulin a few moments ago. Of course, they lead coming into race 3.
Came on the start line for the final race of the day, MXGP and Open classes. Joining me, we have Team France, Gauthier Paulin. Gauthier, a strong first moto for you, a strong race from Romain Febvre. Things are looking good for Team France, so what's the plan for this last race?
Yeah, I was feeling good in first moto. Just at the first lap, Antonio hit me in corner number 3 and opened my full boot, so I had to back up and close it again on a straight line after 1 lap, so it was really tough. And then I was really far from the lead, and yeah, finishing third was all right. My teammates has been riding awesome, so looking forward for this one. Anything, we still have everything to do.
Of course, because Team Netherlands is not far behind.
Yeah, I mean, it's until the last lap. We will keep fighting.
Okay, well, good luck. Thank you. Gauthier Paulin there from Team France. It's time for the final race of the day, Open and MXGP.
Some riders going out on the sighting lap a short while ago. Not everybody, of course. You see Jeffrey Hurlings, number 6 KTM, parked over there in the corner. Begs the question why the rest of the guys who have absolutely nothing to gain going out there, but then different abilities. Right, here's how the riders line up then. France, we just spoke about it a moment ago. Paulin, Febvre, a very strong pairing coming into this final race. Jeff Emig, Koldenhoff and Hurlings for the Netherlands. Veris and Gibbs still have a lot on the line here as well. So too do Max Anstey and Dean Wilson, because if you take away the worst score as it currently stands at the moment, France throwing away a 14th from Charlier will pick up 11 points. 22 is the worst score for Australia. That means they will be 6 behind Team France on 17. The Netherlands 1 point further back on 18 if they throw away their 12. And Great Britain 23 points fourth if they throw away their 37th place. And they are realistically at the moment, looking at it until the gate drops, the 4 teams that seem to be in contention for the Chamberlain Trophy, or at least the podium.
Yeah, for sure. And France is just so strong. So is the Netherlands. Remember, 1 year ago, Hurlings and his teammates, which are his same teammates this year, Brian Bogers and Glenn Koldenhoff, missed winning the Chamberlain Trophy for the first time ever by 1 point. So now it comes down to it, really, with France and the Netherlands right out front, and Australia trying to play the spoiler. And you never know how this race is going to shake down. They could find themselves in a position to win it also.
Just looking at the score from Team USA, I mean, they're pretty much
There's some big numbers there.
There's some big numbers there. They need to throw away that 38 from Cole Seeley in the first race, and at the moment they're looking at, what, 35 points as it currently stands. It's not impossible to make a podium from here, but a lot depends on the start. The 15-second board is up. Race 3 is about to get underway. Dean Ferris up the inside gate for Team Australia. I think Gauthier Paulin as well. Gate number 4 for Team France. This is it. This is the race that decides the Motocross of Nations 2017. And riders banging bars, they charge into the first turn. It's Max Anstey. Anstey with a box hole shot here in Moto number 3. He was a winner in race 1. He's got Roman Federer behind him.
Who was that in
Jeremy
just about clips Hurlings going down the start straight. That would have been devastating.
Jeremy Van Horbig. And the Yamaha, and Hurlings in 4th on the KTM. 5th is Tonus again. 6th looks like Bobryshev as they head up the hill for the first time. And Anstey streaking away in the early stages of this race. Once again, where are the 2 Australians? Where is Hurlings' teammate, Glenn Coldenhoff? He wasn't great in the first race. He could be the weak link in this one, and that will determine whether, well, the outcome here.
Well, we got a shot of the Australian, Dean Ferris. He was on the inside of the gate, and he really spun off of that metal, corrugated metal gate. And so Ferris for Australia currently in 17th, Coldenhoff in 14th.
Just behind Dean Wilson and Gauthier Paulin of France. So France at the moment can throw away 14 points for that 14th place from Christophe Charlier in race number 1 earlier on today. Roman Federer a little bit short there, and looked like he just the foot peg. Well, the foot slipped off the foot peg there as he came into land, but Anstey,
look at that, giving the home fans what they want.
Immaculate in race 1, and this is the perfect start to the final race of the afternoon. They got some pretty big numbers to check out as well. We need to see Dean Wilson, what he can do. He's up to 12th place, 3 behind Gauthier Paulin, who's putting in a great charge in the early stages of this race. But there's Anstey, there's Federer, there your top 2. Van Horbig for Belgium should be 3rd. So the 2 Monstringi Yamahas, teammates from MXG. Oh! Federer, how did he save that? He got a wicked kick as he came into land around about the point there. 2 bike lengths on the downside. The back end swap from side to side as Tonus goes up the inside of Cole Seeley, who's having a much better start. Watch this here. Roman Federer, he comes into land.
Lands, just gets a little sideways, and wow, what a kick right there. I mean, the good thing is they've got a lot of low scores, and in the event that they can, you know, throw one away, got a little bit of room to work with, but you certainly don't want to give up a 2nd place.
Anstey just a little bit short when he came into land there as well, and his gap over Roman Federer as they hit the line is 1.3 seconds. The 2 of them setting the fastest 2nd, 3rd and 4th sectors between them. Van Horbig is 3rd, about 4 seconds further back. Then Hurlings is 4th, Tonus 5th, Cole Seeley for the United States is in 6th place, Ulrich for Germany 7th, Paulin is up to 8th for Team France. Tim Geiser of Slovenia is 9. He could be a danger man. He could spoil the French party by finding a way past Paulin and taking a point away from them. Seawer is 10. Dean Wilson 11 for GB. Coldenhoff 12. For Cotti is 13. And then Cairoli 14. Leon 15. Bobryshev 16. Ferris of Australia is in 17th. Where's his teammate? Kurt Gibbs 35. That is the score that they will be looking to drop for Team Australia. And that would mean they are not on the podium at the moment. I think we're still waiting for him to come through, aren't we?
Yeah, that means they would be counting that 22nd that Dean Ferris had in Moto 1. Definitely Ferris capable of a much better finish.
So, drama in the opening stages of the race then in terms of Roman Federer almost throwing it away over on the far side of the circuit. Someone tagging with Jeffrey Hurlings. I think it was Jeremy Van Horbig. Gauthier Paulin not making the best start. Looking to find his way around the number 7 of Cole Seeley. We'd probably see a better performance from him. There's absolutely nothing to gain here really for Team USA. They are 7th in the classification at the moment. 67 points, 30-odd off the podium. And so he could probably relax a little bit here, but making it difficult for Paulin.
Paulin going to try the outside line right here, carry some momentum around. Looks like he's going to make it work.
Great ride that. Great line as well from Gauthier Paulin. Just committed himself to the outside, and he takes away a position. So Paulin now up into 6th on the first official full lap from finish line to finish line.
Some of your spoilers like Tim Geiser, he's in 9th. Jeremy Seawer in 10th. Tony Cairoli back in 14th.
Looking good at the moment for, here's how it ends at the end of the first lap. France on 21, Netherlands 34, Britain on 35. So GB could get on the podium here for the first time since 1997, when Belgium in the mud race that was basically because of an overwater track in Belgium. Switzerland on 52, so Anstey looking good up front, but Romain Febvre just has a nice line. Oh, sorry, that's Tonus and Paulin. Whoa! Paulin!
How he stays on the motorcycle.
He got tagged there by Tonus.
It just hooked up in time to save him, because that bike was sliding out on him. Looking a little short there, but now look at this battle that we have going. Anstey just guarding the inside line and just blasting Febvre right there.
Fastest lap as well, full second over Max Anstey. So Anstey at 2:42, Febvre 2:41 to the 10th of a second as well. So these two going after the glory here. Of course, Max Anstey can take the MXGP class win. He stalls at the bottom of the hill. Looked like he hit a neutral.
Possibly, yeah. Yeah, it looked like he was going to fall to the outside, maybe get high side a little bit, but
Van Horbig here in third for Team Belgium on the Yamaha. Hurling's looking to find a way through. Deja vu for the two riders there. Netherlands against Belgium. And a nice move up the inside. Took no prisoners there, Jeffrey Hurlings. He is now clear track in third. What can he do about the gap to Romain Febvre and Max Anstey, who's responded well after making that mistake?
Yeah, the real battle here in the team classification is Netherlands on 34 points, Great Britain on 35, only separated by 1 point there, and that's second, third. France with a total of 19 as they run right now, really in command of this Motocross of Nations.
Well, we've already seen the MX2 class win in the individual championship there go to Hunter Lawrence by a single point over Zach Osborne. Max Anstey, a winner in MXGP in the first race. He's currently leading the MXGP category here in race 2. Who are the contenders for that? Of course, they're looking at podiums at the moment. They're in third place, whereas Wilson in 11th position. But Hurlings, he's the man on the move. He's in third, and he's already starting to put some distance between himself and Jeremy Van Horbig. But he got filled in on the opening laps. That might cost the Dutchman. Here's the 13 of Cairoli, just behind the 21 of Dean Wilson. So Wilson doesn't really want to lose any points, and Cairoli, he is making light work of the guys around him. But the battle here between Anstey, your race leader for Great Britain, and Romain Febvre, the track getting very greasy on the landings there, Jeff. Febvre coming up short, hitting the hole on the exit as well. But making Anstey work extra hard here and putting the pressure on the Brit, who is just being urged on every step of the way around this Winchester, this Hampshire circuit in the south of England.
Well, and remember in Moto 1, Febvre had to pull his goggles. Right now, he's been close to Anstey, just really taking a lot of roost right there.
That is such a nice line.
All this moisture, and Febvre's got that amazing line there coming down after the finish line on that outside of that turn, but he's just not quite close enough to make it work for him quite yet. But you wonder if he's just teeing it up for one of these laps.
Wow. Anstey this is where he made the mistake a lap ago. He gets through there nice and clean.
Did Febvre pull his goggles?
I think he was struggling a little bit of time.
I'm not sure if he was messing with his roll-offs or if he actually pulled them.
Yeah, it looked like he was more struggling with the visibility issue. He's still got them on at the moment. I can just see the goggle strap just around the back of the helmet there, but Hurlings a 2:43, so not the blistering fast time. Yeah, struggling again with the goggles there, Romain Febvre. Right, last time around, Hurlings was at the top of the hill as these guys were in the opposite corner, and it was about a 10-second gap. 12 seconds between them this time around, because Anstey and Febvre, 2:41s last time around, of 2:43 for Hurlings. But as it stands right now, France on 19, the Netherlands on 33. That is a super low score for Team France.
Yeah, and at the top, at the beginning of this moto, we talked a lot about Team Australia, but right now, the biggest problem is Dean Ferris currently setting back in 21st. Kurt Gibbs in 26th. So this final moto just not going their way. That drops him back to 5th right now on 60 points, which is way, way outside of the top 3 of what it's going to take.
Tonus and Paulin fighting for every single point. Tonus in 5th on his Yamaha, Paulin on his Husqvarna in 6th just behind him. The guy just going out a shot a moment ago in the yellow for Team Belgium was Jeremy Van Horbing, and closing in behind them is Tim Geiser of Slovenia. They can't do anything. They're 12th in the classification at the moment, and a bobble there for Paulin just offline through that rhythm section allows Geiser to get onto the rear wheel of the #1, the defending champions. We said he could be a spoiler in this one, taking points from either of the main contenders. Oh, and looked like Geiser, without goggles, just having to look away as he came into land. Might have even got a lump of dirt right in the eye there on landing.
Yeah, you got that right. With those goggles off, it gets really dangerous that way, and you have to really anticipate where that roost is coming from. But it's tough conditions out there, and these guys are laying it all on the line.
Bit of a bobble there for the 67 of Geiser through that right-hander. But Anstey, him and Fevre over the line, 3 laps in the books, 2.3 seconds apart now. Where is Dean Wilson? Wilson is up to 9th, so that's do you know what? They could be challenging for 2nd here this time around. Great Britain, after that problematic first race for Tommy Searle in race 1, where he had a clutch malfunction and had to settle for 37th position. Great Britain coming into the final race have really turned it around.
Yeah, it's been outstanding. Wilson's now gone up to 9th.
We wait for it to tick back. Yeah, Great Britain 2nd on 33, tied with the Netherlands 33. So the podium really then between 3 teams, France, the Netherlands and Great Britain. And the Netherlands have actually just picked off another couple of points there on that lap because they've gone to 31. So it's going to be an interesting wait to see how this one pans out. Who will take the Chamberlain Trophy? Well, it looks like France at the moment. There's Paulin. He's got Geiser behind him in 7th place. Seaworth for Switzerland is in 8th. Wilson for GB9. Koldenhoff had gone up to 10th. Kairode's gone with him to 11th, and Seeley being pushed down to 12th for Team USA. USA looking like they're going to come away from here around about 8th place in 2017, Jeff.
Yeah, and both of these riders on screen, Paulin and Geiser, got a little bit of pace over Tonus, who sets him 5th just in front of him, just a couple seconds. So we're going to see them more than likely close it up, and then that's going to be another position or 2 for France.
Wow,
but
Geiser.
Right now, Geiser's all over him.
Wow, that was timely. So looks like Geiser may have found his way past Paulin. No, not quite. Both riders without goggles, I would think. So Paulin obviously taking goggles off early as well. So visibility issues now, but Geiser doesn't care about that. Nicely done there from Paulin. Oh, alongside Tonus. And the 3 guys here very, very close. And around the outside, Paulin takes a position away from Switzerland.
Well, and the point is here, can Geiser makes the same move right here. Tonus goes a little wide. He's going to be able to get back to the inside. No, Geiser down the inside.
Up on the pegs.
Oh, they get together.
Tips over. Picks himself up. Fires the bike up. Watch this. That was Paulin going through on Tonus.
Just
Tonus
sliding sideways hard on the throttle.
Yeah, Tonus untidy through the waves.
Whoops.
And that is
sorry about that.
Deep off camber falling this way. So Geiser with it all to do again. Got to check Paulin though. 16.5 minutes plus 2 laps to go into the final turn. Jeffrey Hurling's the fastest rider on track by about 6/10 that time around, as he continues to try and reduce that gap to Anstey and Fevre. He's still 12 seconds behind Anstey, the race leader. Fevre still 2 seconds behind your race leader as well, 10 clear of Hurling's.
Looking at the overall classification, France on 18 points. The next closest is the Netherlands with 31. France is just such a comfortable lead. Just like Anstey's got a couple seconds over Febvre right now. I wouldn't call that exactly comfortable, but certainly it's impressive. And both riders have about 10 seconds on Jeffrey Hurlings, who's back in third.
So Geiser being pushed down to 8th, and after that little mistake, but it's Anstey who continues to lead. Febvre here, Team France in second. Continue, and Anstey goes down on the descent. Picks himself up.
That's twice now we've had the leader go down in that same turn.
So Anstey throws away the lead. Watch this, he came in short. Did he hit the same kick? No, he already knew he was out.
It just slides right here. The rear, or the front tire just goes away from him a little bit.
Gift for Romain Febvre.
That's going to be an extra point for France. That'll put him down to 17.
And Febvre and Hurlings going for the open class category here this weekend. So that'll give Febvre the advantage over Jeffrey Hurlings, who's there in the background. Anstey now needs to regroup and focus. He was putting in some decent lap times. In fact, the top 3 guys all lapping the same. 2:41s that time around. So just needs to regain the composure, Anstey. Through that off camera that caught out Tim Geiser a moment ago.
Other than that slip-up, Anstey has had an absolutely perfect day. It's been really, really impressive.
Febvre, the mud man here on the number 3, the defending champions, looking to make it 4 in a row. They are becoming the new dominant force of world motocross, Jeff Emig.
It's hard, but I mean, not hard to believe, but it's so impressive that they've just put together these teams. And even this year, when they had some injuries with 3 riders that were supposed to ride in the MX2 class, they invited Christophe Charlier, who's been an Enduro rider this year, to join the team. Had some great finishes. He was 6th and 14th.
And that's the score. That's the highest score they're throwing away at the moment, Team France.
Yeah.
And we were talking on Friday, we were talking yesterday, and we mentioned it today. We thought this one was going to be an open, probably one of the most open motocross nations in recent history. We thought it was going to be a high scorer. Well, France kind of rewriting that at the moment. They're on 17, the Netherlands on 32, Great Britain on 34 as it currently stands. So we were looking past the 30s, but France have just been so dominant here this weekend so far. Hurlings is closing in fast on Anstey as well, because Anstey's lap at 2:49. He lost 9 seconds to Jeffrey Hurlings, which meant that that gap should be down to about 3 seconds between this guy here, number 19, Max Anstey, who should still pick up the MXGP class win. But Romain Febvre, look at that time that he put in, a 2:40.3, 4/10 quicker than Hurlings, the fastest lap of the race on lap 5.
Yeah, once he had a clear track, he just absolutely dropped the hammer.
Wave yellows, the other side of the jump. Caught a few people out over the course of the weekend. There's Jeffrey Hurlings. He was one of them that succumbed to that particular jump in race 2. Ryder just picking himself up the other side there. But as it stands right now, 12.5 minutes plus 2 laps to go. Febvre leads for France, 6.9 seconds clear of Anstey. Hurlings here is in 3rd for the Netherlands. Van Horbing 20 seconds further back already for Belgium. Then Paulin of France is in 5th. Tonus of Switzerland 6th. Geiser, Slovenia 7th. He's found his way back past Jeremy Sewa, who's in 8th. Wilson is 9 for GB, and Kai Rowley for Italy is 10. The next Dutchman is Glenn Koldnov in 11th, and then we have the Russian Bobryshev in 12th position. Dean Ferris for Australia in 17th place. Kurt Gibbs in 22nd. They were on the podium. They were placed 3rd after race 2, Team Australia. And it looked like they had a good bit of ground clearance as well, and they were going to be contenders for the win, definitely for the podium. But the way that this final race is working out, they are going to leave here 6th on 56 points right now.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit disappointing. Australia just looks so strong after the second moto. You know, those rides that the MX2 rider Hunter Lawrence put in were really impressive.
Well, we had the situation where Dean Ferris was the the weak link in moto number 1. Kurt Gibbs was the strong rider in the in the 450 MXGP and open class riders, and
yeah, with a fifth there in the second moto, that was an outstanding ride.
And both guys struggling out of the start just when they needed one to keep them in contention. But 3 seconds though between Anstey and Herlings as this race leaves with about 11 minutes to go. There are your top 3 riders pretty much in the same shot. Anstey in the bottom of the hill, nervous look behind. Herlings coming down the hill in the opposite direction, and Febvre jumping down there. So there's your top 3. This has been a pretty impressive performance from Max Anstey. He hasn't won a race in MXGP this year in his rookie season, apart from the qualifying race in the final round at Pays de Montbéliard at Villars-sous-Écot. And he comes away to the Motocross of Nations here on home soil at Natalie Basin and wins moto number 1, the biggest win of his career.
Well, still lots of time left here. 10 minutes plus 2 laps to go.
Look at the gap. The time there last time around, 2:47.2 for Febvre. Anstey 2:44.1. So that gap is coming down. He can see Febvre ahead of him. So there must have been a mistake from the French rider.
Yeah, and then Herlings at a 2:43. So your top 3 only separated by about 6 seconds now, which is about half of what it was maybe 3 or 4 laps ago.
Yeah, and Herlings inching ever so closer to Max Anstey. But they've basically given a riding lesson to everybody else in the early stages of this third moto. Van Horbeke is 4, Paulin 5. Those guys are 34 and 45 seconds behind. Paulin knows, though, that his position will be good enough. He's been around this job enough to know it's his 9th consecutive Motocross of Nations, and he's looking at making it 4 wins in a row. He is the only rider that in that French team that can say that. Febvre is looking at 3 wins in a row. Christophe Charlier is looking at making it a gold double, having picked up the ISDE, the International 6 Days Enduro gold medal for Team France just a few weeks ago, and a Motocross of Nations gold in the same season.
Which surely has never been done before.
If it has, it's not been done in recent history.
It hasn't been done since, I mean, it would be pre-1970s, right?
Probably. I mean, somebody's probably going to get me right the wrong on that if there is a wrong, but he could be on the verge of making history here. Gold medals in different disciplines in the same season for Team France. But look at Anstey closing in, and Colsili is out again.
No way. Another problem, a broken shock for the second moto in a row.
I want the camera to go back to the bike. I don't know if it was a rear shock issue again. It definitely looks low on the back end. The back suspension has collapsed.
I mean, yeah,
again.
the suspension issue, I'm just assuming that it was a shock, but yeah, it could be a number of things. But it basically same thing to happen.
That does not happen very often. To have it happen twice?
Yeah. Yeah, it has not been Cole's day. Certainly for Team USA, that's going to be devastating. And you know, that effort that Zach Osborne put out in the second moto to earn a third, he goes 10-3. The teammates just could not put those motos together. Covington at the moment shown at 17, excuse me.
Bemused faces down there in Team USA. But Anstey is going after Romain Febvre. The gap 1.5 seconds. But look in the background as well, Jeffrey Herlings. We've got a 3-way battle for the lead and the win in the closing stages of this third race. MXGP and MX Open, the 450s, the big hitters, the one that does decide the Chamberlain Trophy. Oh, that is the gap. There's your first 3 riders there. They're all separated by about 3 seconds now, Jeff.
Yeah, it's definitely closing up. And with 7 minutes plus 2 laps, there's still lots of racing left to go. These fans here at Natalie Basin are loving this racing action.
Dean Ferris getting lapped there for Team Australia. He is in 25th place. But Anstey still has goggles. Febvre does not. Herlings does. So this might also be a deciding factor in this race. Romain Febvre getting roosted by the back markers. Anstey just keeping his head down at the right times there. And a mistake there because of that. Febvre had his head down as he approached the back marker. Oh, deja vu for Anstey. I thought he was going to go down again then. Just like in the qualifying race, he goes to the inside.
Those two lines come together. Anstey had to check up just a little bit. Let's see if he's got a better line here. Trying not to follow, but extremely difficult conditions these riders are going for. This is for the win here in Moto 3.
Febvre making it difficult for Anstey. Anstey was your winner in race 1, the MXGP and MX2 category. Febvre is currently leading race 3, MXGP and MX Open. And
Febvre carrying the front wheel a little high over that triple.
Tell you what, as long as Anstey is parked behind Febvre here, Herlings is going to come right back into play. Over the Monster Energy finish line for the 8th time. Oh, it's short for Romain Febvre. Anstey is through. Anstey leads again for Great Britain.
It looks like Febvre a little bit disappointed. Lapped rider there, possibly. Just
oh, a mistake for Anstey as well. Oh, he protects the line, and Febvre has to look away to avoid the roost off the back end of that Husqvarna. And he looks to go the long way round. He looks to retake the lead. A drag race down into turn 2. Anstey just keeping his nose clean and ahead of the Frenchman, who will charge. Takes a second look at it, thinks, no, I'll go to the outside. Herlings right there, just behind for the Netherlands. He was 12 seconds back when he got to 3rd on around, what, that 2?
Yeah, looking, I mean, Herlings looking to capitalize on any mistake right there, but I don't know how Romain Febvre from France could even see anything at that point. He was risking it all to take the lead back. There he makes a little mistake right there, and Herlings is going to sense that, but the crowd cheering on Max Anstey, who regains the lead here.
This has been one of the toughest motocross nations in recent history. We had the heat of Majora last year. I mean, the last wet one, really, it wasn't really wet, it was just wet sand in Latvia. So this has been a hard slog for these guys.
Oh, yeah.
Herlings, though, looking good. A panic rev there for Febvre. He was short. Herlings was lucky not to collect the rear wheel of the Frenchman. He's going to get alongside him as he goes up over the triple single. And he'll be up on the pegs here, Jeffrey Herlings. He might even dance his way around the outside of the Frenchman here. Oh, we cut away right at the wrong time there. Round the outside. Not able to break the defense of Febvre. Anstey, this is a gift for him. He's getting clear at the head. The back end dancing around on that KTM of Herlings. Number 6 for the Netherlands in 3rd.
There goes Anstey.
Anstey has already made one mistake.
For the individual win there in the open class, this is between Febvre, who comes up short again, loses another spot to Herlings.
Yeah, and Febvre then gesticulating probably to the back marker there.
It's like a replay of last time. Yeah, exact same replay.
Febvre gets the drive on Herlings, though, down into turn 1. He might try and park the Dutchman, but thinks better of it again. Herlings has clear goggles. Febvre coming in for goggles. He knows he can do that, because they've got a massive gap. So Van Hoorbeek is about 30 seconds down. Febvre will come in and say, you know what, clean goggles for the last 2 or 3 laps. Out he goes. Team France, though, are still going to be in pole position. So an interesting choice there. He tried to keep his goggles and his face clean for as long as possible, but the gap between Anstey and Herlings as they cross the line was 2.3 seconds. So now he has nobody around him, Jeffrey Herlings. He's just going after the race win here, and that will get the Netherlands there. You know what? France on 19, the Netherlands 32, Great Britain on 33. Where is Dean Wilson? Wilson is in 9th, 6 seconds behind Kairodi. Kolanov is safe as well in 11th place. Take a look at this again. Febvre having a sneaky look back while he was leading to see who it was that was hounding him down. It was Anstey.
And for the second lap in a row, or no, this was the first one. Yeah, this was the first time. Watch right here. Febvre does something with his left arm, and I don't know whether he was motioning towards the lap rider or what that was. And then the next lap, he basically does the exact same thing, loses the position to Herlings, does the exact same thing. But meanwhile, no problems for Max Anstey. Now he had that one little mistake, but no problem since then. Looking to go 1-1. And you see the countdown clock at 51. It's going to be pretty close.
I would say it's a 3-lapper.
I would say, yeah.
3 laps to go then, judging by the time that it's going to take Anstey to get from here to the Monster Energy finish line. Probably going to be about 20 seconds on the clock when he goes through. Here's Febvre. He's re-goggled. Taking a quick pit stop. Stays in 3rd place. Stays about 46 seconds clear of Van Horbig probably as well. We'll soon find out when that changes this time around.
So right there, Anstey goes by with 15 seconds on the clock.
Pretty good guess. It's at 20. He's opened the gap as well over Herlings, 3.7 seconds. Herlings knows that he's got the open class in his victory in his pocket with a win in Moto #1 and a second here currently. Febvre would be second and third in that open category. Anstey will take the MXGP classification, and it will be good enough to get GB on the podium as well. They're currently 3rd on 33, the Netherlands on 31, second. France now, they've lost a position, and who's that then that's lost a position? So Paulin must have lost a place because they're now on 20. They were on 19. Right, there's Febvre.
It's going to be nice to have some goggles on again in these sort of conditions.
Yeah.
Right?
The only problem is the amount of dirt that's on your face. Sometimes what happens is that starts to dry and break up, and then you start getting the mud jumping around the lens, and then just drops in your eyes.
I mean, the conditions today are as brutal as they come right now, and that they were racing that hard, especially Febvre, to be riding at that pace with no goggles on. Quite impressive, and just showing a lot of heart, a lot of determination.
Herlings just trying to get some mud away from his left boot there as he legged his way around, gets up onto that iPhone step up. I mean, there's still been some fantastic racing in this edition of the Monster Energy FIM Motocross of Nations presented by Fiat Professional, Jeff, despite the conditions.
Yeah, Herlings out there running second, still trying to secure second place for the second year in a row for his team. Any little mistake would allow Great Britain to come back.
That's the gap.
And possibly take that second position.
That's the gap between first and second. It was about 4 seconds, 3.7, as they crossed the line a moment ago. And it's going to be 2 laps to go this time around. Max Anstey has put in, after crashing here in qualifying yesterday when he was took out by a lap rider, he's picked himself up, dusted himself down. He led the first race from flag to flag, and other than that mistake, it's been immaculate. Right, this was Herlings and Febvre. Yeah, and that was him then. As soon as that happened, he pulled in to change goggles, Romain Febvre. He knew the gap was big enough to be able to do that and not lose a place.
Yeah, and he must have been getting the message in the signboard area that goggles ready, pull in if you want. And so after that, he decided to pull it on in. But, you know, this race right now, the gap there, Herlings is only 3 seconds behind Anstey. He's right there, just goes over the deal. He comes across over the finish line.
It was 3.7, it's 3.6, so just a 1/10 gain there for Herlings. 1/10 with 2 laps to go.
2 to go. Still plenty of time for Herlings if he puts in a good charge to try to make a move.
Look at the bike moving around there. That'd be nice to see a slow-mo replay of that, because there's so much going on coming out of that turn.
Yeah, and it's such a one-line area as they drop down onto the start straight. There's some massive holes. I mean,
here's Anstey at the bottom of the hill. Bottom of the hill now is Jeffrey Herlings. That's first and second. Romain Febvre, 27 seconds behind these guys, but that's going to be good enough for Team France to take the Chamberlain Trophy as it stands right now. Just wondering, you know, if they had to, if they could throw away. Oh, he throws his goggles off again, Romain Febvre. Not happy at all.
It's just not his day for goggles. But look at this. This race is tightening up.
Is that Cairoli being lapped? No, Lupino.
Lupino, yeah.
So Lupino being lapped there. Number 15 in 18th place for Team Italy. So Anstey leads. He's got 3.6 seconds over Hurlings. The Brit leading the Dutchman. Fevre for France is third. Belgians, Jeremy Van Horebeke is fourth. Tim Geiser of Slovenia is fifth. Paulin of France is sixth. Cairoli 7 for Italy. 8 now for Dean Wilson. Wilson pulls a point back because he's found his way past Siwa. And that, oh, I tell you what, they're going to get to within a point of the Netherlands.
It's going to be close.
It's going to be very
it's
close.
Pretty hard to believe after the way the first moto started for Great Britain, where the 37th that they had from Tommy Searle looked like it was going to be hard for them to recover, but they certainly have. But that's the type of effort you got to put out. I mean, you're the host nation. You've got Max Anstey looking at going 1-1 here. He's got about a lap and a half to go to secure that victory. Just a great effort by Dean Wilson, who's started well outside the top 10. Once again, he's up to 8.
Just over a lap to go. Max Anstey and Team Great Britain couldn't ask for anything more. There's Hurlings, though. Hurlings is closing in. That gap is not 3.6 seconds. Anstey has had a shaky lap. He's had a bit of a wobble, folks.
He's got some lap riders in front of him. There's 3 riders that could slow him up right here.
And does he have
See
goggles?
if he still triples.
Yeah, he's got goggles. So that's good. That's Covington being lapped for 17th place.
Hurlings letting it all hang out.
Anstey has to be careful here. He doesn't want to get caught. And the back marker takes a long look over his shoulder. I think it was Gonçalves, actually, for Portugal. So these guys lapping thick and fast now, but absolutely nothing in it.
Watch this section here. Anstey's is kind of one line right there.
Great choice of line for Hurlings, but then it just went wrong on the exit of the turn as he tried to avoid the tail enders. Anstey has 1 lap, 2 minutes to go, or 2:40 on the clock. Is in his lap time to try and bring this home and make it a perfect day here at Matterley Basin with a 1-1 for Team Great Britain and a class win in the Motocross of Nations on home soil, Jeff.
Well, yeah, just outstanding effort. Hurlings is not giving up. This is he's closing right in, and it's tough for Anstey because he's the first rider to hit the lap riders, and then usually once the leader comes by, they say, oh, okay, something's happening. I need to move out of the way.
These two,
and it makes it a little bit easier for the rider in second.
These two were like this in France at the final race, the MXGP race of the year, just a couple of weeks ago. In the final lap, Anstey lost it pretty much to Jeffrey Hurlings, and he's been in this position before, doesn't want to be in that position again, but you know
he's
what?
Closing up. Hurlings riding the short line on the inside, letting it all hang out. Now they're really close.
He was about 20 meters shorter in that corner. Nervous moments here for Jeffrey Hurlings. He will, for Anstey, he will hear Hurlings breathing down his neck. The fans will be behind him. This has a reminiscence of 2012. Tommy Searle leading Jeffrey Hurlings through this part of the racetrack. In an MX2 Grand Prix, a Brit leading the Dutchman. Can he hang
really
on?
Quick through there.
He can hear Hurlings. No mistakes through here, please. Keep it nice and clean. Oh, too easy in that bottom corner. Gets good drive. Oh, and there's a slight bobble coming out of that turn and over the crest. He gets good drive through that turn, though, onto the city double. He's about 7 or 8 corners away from the flag here and making it a perfect score. Max Anstey, his teammate Dean Wilson, is still in 8th place.
Has to be clean through these next couple of turns, and I'm not sure that there's going to be any place for Hurlings to make a move unless Anstey made a mistake. It's going to be close.
Very close. He was short on the downside there. What is he? 1, 2, 3, 4 corners from home. I'm going to put my non-bias hat on. Come on, Max. Just 2 more corners. 1 more corner to go after this one. Max Anstey has ridden a fantastic ride. He makes a slight mistake there. He gets on the gas. Jeffrey Hurlings is out of time. And Anstey, he goes 1-1 here in front of his home fans. He goes the perfect score. He wins the MXGP category. GB are on the podium for the first time since Nîmes in Belgium, 1997.
Now we turn our attention to the team classification as Romain Fevre trying to bring it home in 3rd in the final moto here to give France their 4th straight Motocross of Nations win.
Well, apart from the top two, that was probably my pick. I said that those three would be on the podium. I said the Netherlands would win, France would be second, GB on the podium for third. But another fantastic performance for France. They are the Chamberlain Trophy winners again.
Quelle course!
Here is Romain Febvre. He rounds out the final turn. He will come home in third for Team France. We wait for Gauthier Paulin to come through, but that is going to be a joyous moment for Romain Febvre. He will ride into the arms of his teammates, no doubt about it. Thierry van der Bosch up there, the four-time Supermoto World Champion, getting ready to greet him. But here is Gauthier Paulin, the team captain, a 9-time veteran of this Motocross of Nations event.
And for Team France, only one finish in double digits, the 14th.
And that's the one
that they're going to throw away. Wow, that's so impressive.
A third, a sixth, a second, a third, and a sixth here with Gauthier Paulin. They have decimated the opposition once again. And Gauthier Paulin realizes that it's 4 in a row for Team France.
Let's
go down to our winners. Pascal Finot there, the team manager, his third year in the job, taking over from Olivier Robert. He was in the backroom staff, though, when those victories happened. So it's becoming part of second nature for Pascal Finot. Wow. Team France will head to the United States next year as world champions once again.
Well, it's an impressive effort.
Sewa passed his teammate Tonus on the final lap, so nothing to worry about there in terms of their scores. That would stay the same. But for Team France, Team Netherlands and Team Great Britain, they are on the podium. It will be a crazy podium down there. Of course, they can make their way down there. As soon as all the bikes are off the track, they'll bring the barriers down. And they will make their way down. It's always a noisy, always a raucous podium here at the Motocross of Nations. It'll kick off again any moment when the French stand on the top step listening to the Marseillaise.
Une petite Marseillaise.
This race never fails to disappoint, does it, Jeff?
Yeah, that was an outstanding effort. Not surprising that it was France, Netherlands, and Great Britain. Their riders that were battling it out there at the end. The three nations that were up there on the podium, and
yeah, disappointment for Team Australia. They were third after the second race. Just went a little bit peaked-on when it mattered. But Anstey wins for the second time today. Hurling second, Febvre third, Van Horbik, Geiser, Paulin, Cairoli and Wilson. Sewa and Tonus 9 and 10 for Switzerland. And then Kodnov, Bobryshev, Strybos, Leon, Freddie Noren, Rui Gonçalves. Those guys getting lapped. In fact, lapped up to Evgeny Bobryshev. He was the only guy in 12th to stay on the same lap.
On a gagné, the Black Ghost.
So we're going to go speak to Christophe Charlier. He is with Lisa Leyland. He's a double gold winner in 2017.
Christophe Charlier, congratulations to you and Team France. They've done it again for the 4th year in a row.
Yes, it's crazy because I stopped motocross since 1 year now, and to come for this race and to win with the team, with all the people is so good, crazy.
And of course you won the gold medal in the ISDE, and now you've won the gold medal at the Motocross of Nations. It's been a crazy year for you as well.
Yes, it's so crazy. I win the 6th day, and this is it's so good. Now I feel crazy. Yeah, very good.
Enjoy it. Congratulations.
Guess we'll be hanging out down in Team France tonight then, Jeff, because it's going to take a while to get out of here. That's for sure.
4 in a row. The last team to really dominate was Team USA. They had 7 in a row.
Well, Romain Febvre came here as number 3 for Team France. Christophe Charlier, number 2. Gauthier Paulin, number 1. And they are the world champions again. They lifted the Chamberlain Trophy here at the 71st edition of the Monster Energy FIM Motocross of Nations, presented by Fiat Professional. 4 in a row, 5 in total. And they are, as we said, they are the team to beat yet again.
Yeah, it was impressive. And the conditions today I mean, it's so tough. And the way that Febvre was riding that last race with no goggles, just charging, really showing a lot of heart and determination. That was great. Gauthier.
Ouais.
Yeah. Smiling eyes of Gauthier Paulin as he gives the team manager Pascal Finot a massive hug there as he realizes that France have done it again. This time here at Mattigny-Basin on one of his favorite tracks.
Oh, here we go.
Wow. Okay, so just invite yourselves down to the podium, guys, because
Quel
nobody's
petit
going
défilé,
anywhere in a
les
hurry.
mecs.
This looks more like the Glastonbury Festival that they have in the summer.
Yeah, exactly, huh?
Never rains there. Nations classification 2017. France win by 11 points over the Netherlands, who just edge out Great Britain by a point to take third. Great Britain's first podium since 1997 at Nîmes in Belgium.
That's hard to believe with all of the great teams that have came along since then. But
yeah,
great job.
Great job indeed. And well, despite the weather conditions, finally we get back on the podium in terms of GB. When I say we, I don't mean you and I, Jeff, obviously. But Fox pole shot. And wow, what a great day for Max Anstey. There's Tommy Searle throwing away that 37th. There's Dean Wilson just taking a quick swig. But for the foxhole shot, for the third moto, it was the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna of Max Anstey by a clear margin.
Yeah, the first two motos were really close, but that time Anstey had that all the way.
So I'm sure he'll hand that to Millie. She'll have a pair, I think she'll probably get she'll get one shoe for that, I think. Look at that, 2 KTMs and a Husky. All 450s. Take a look at the highlights then from race 3 here at Mattigny-Basin. Dean Ferris spun up as he got over the gate immediately. And it was Max Anstey with that massive foxhole shot behind him, Roman Febvre, Van Hoorbeek, and of course, Jeffrey Hurlings. The two almost touched wheels as they came out of that first turn.
Cole Seely and Gauthier Paulin. Paulin taking the position.
And then charging down the inside of Paulin was Tonus. I think they were about 4th or 5th at that point. But Hurlings put himself in the third with this pass on Jeremy Van Hoorbeek of Belgium. The Dutchman then had clear track to try and close down the gap. Anstey threw away the lead when he came up short, allowing Febvre to go through.
He got up pretty quick, but the troubles would continue for Cole Seely and Team Honda. Two problems, same problem, both motos. Meanwhile, Anstey goes by for the lead. Febvre probably feeling like he was held up by a lap rider, and then the same thing, it was like Groundhog Day, as Hurlings goes by and drops him back to third. He was flagging for goggles at that point already to his team, Roman Febvre, so he did exactly come in. But in the closing stages, Hurlings caught Max Anstey, but it was not enough to deny the Brit a double moto win on home soil here at Mattigny-Basin. Roman Febvre crossed the line in third for Team France, and that was all she wrote here at Mattigny-Basin. Paulin, Febvre, Charlier make history here for their own country. Christophe Charlier making a bit of history for himself. 2 gold medals now, and Great Britain on the podium again. And I tell you what, back-to-back podiums for Team the Netherlands as well. 2 second places in the last 2 Monster Energy Motocross of Nations presented by Fiat Professional. Yeah, certainly a great performance 2 years in a row. Last year it was 1 point. This year France had it by 11. So it's a pretty challenging day. This Team Great Britain get themselves onto the Monster Energy Motocross of Nations presented by Fiat Professional here at home at Mattigny-Basin. Sweet for Max Anstey, 2 moto wins for him. He will leave here as the MXGP individual class winner. He was born here in Winchester. He grew up 20 minutes away in Newbury. And Tommy Searle, well, he's got his own memories of this place. And for Dean Wilson, he finally gets on the podium as well as a Brit. Congratulations, guys. You finally break that duck. That's a start for the Netherlands. Jeffrey Hurlings, Glenn Coldenhoff, and Brian Bogus. Second again, just like they were in 2016 at Maggiora Park. Marcel Hartmann, the team manager, and Mark Chamberlain, I forgot to mention him as a team manager for Team GB. Congratulations all round. But yeah, Hurlings will win the open category individually. Anstey, the MXGP category. Hunter Lawrence MX2, but Roman Febvre, Gauthier Paulin,
Christophe Charlier and team manager Pascal Fino will stand on the top step of the podium for the 4th consecutive time. Jeff Emig.
What an effort here, and all the riders, they know what the conditions were like out there, showing respect to each other, and just an awesome feeling there. It's got to be for Christophe Charlier, who's been away from motocross for a year, wins the ISD gold medal, now comes back and gets a gold medal here in the Motocross of Nations. He's having a good year.
Well, for Team France as well, you know, a lot of question marks before they came here because Dylan Ferrandis out injured, Benoit Pacharel injured. They're sat at home saying, okay, at least we won it, and we finally came through. But 3rd overall for Team Great Britain. That'll be the trophy that they can keep. That'll probably go to ACU House in Rugby in Warwickshire, just an hour and a half up the road. Mr. Vito Ippolito, the FIM president, will hand them their 3rd place trophy as well. Of course, that one stays with the FIM. That's for 3rd. There's Mark Chamberlain. He has been the biggest motocross fan. He soaked it up from the age of 5 or 6. As soon as I saw him in the paddock years and years ago. He is here now as a team manager for Great Britain. At his first attempt, he gets them on the podium. What a fantastic day. And the dinner that they had last night, I was a guest over there, about 10-15 minutes from here. And, I mean, wow, look at this. The podium here is absolutely insane.
This is one of the reasons what makes the Motocross of Nations just so special. I mean, the fans here, the weather is really dreadful, actually, and but they just were treated to some awesome racing today.
Dr. Wolf had a
great time this weekend.
Handing the 2nd place trophy for keeps to the Netherlands, Marcel Hartmann, and of course Brian Bogers, Glenn Koldenoff, Jeffrey Hurlings. But well, that's the 2nd place trophy first of all. Mr. Vito Ippolito doing the honours once again. But for the 4th consecutive year, 2014 in Latvia at Kegums, 2015 at home at Ernée in France, last year at Maggiore Park in Italy, and now here at Mattingly Basin, Great Britain in Hampshire. Mitch Covington, the senior vice president at Monster Energy, handing the trophy for keeps to Team France. They're getting used to having those Monster Energy trophies parked there at France headquarters. What a party we are going to have tonight. No one is leaving here until the morning, that's for sure. More trophies being handed out. Richard Chamberlain. Thank you, sir. But
should only be one trophy left.
Chamberlain trophy.
Yep. It's a special feeling. There's a lot of effort that goes into it. It's not just the 3 riders that were obviously on the track, but family members, friends, team members, mechanics, technicians. A lot of effort goes into this trophy here.
Team
to winning
France,
this.
for the 4th straight year, stand on the top step of the Monster Energy FIM Motocross of Nations podium, presented by Fiat Professional. They raise the Chamberlain Trophy. They are victorious once again. They overcame adversity with the weather conditions. They won it by 11 points over the Netherlands, 12 over Team Great Britain, who are on the first podium since 1997. And a fantastic day for Team France. Mascalfino, the team manager of Team France, singing his heart out there as La Marseillaise was played again. Bit of a football chant going on there. There we go. Wow. Finally, the champagne. Look at Anstey just getting in there, and Tommy Searle, Dean Wilson, of course, the Dutch riders, Brian Bogers, Glenn Koldenoff, Jeffrey Hurlings. Well, there are going to be some sorry states in the morning, that's for sure. Put it this way, no one's testing tomorrow anyway.
That's right. There'll be no riding tomorrow.
Well, Jeff, it's been an absolute pleasure. Another fantastic Motocross Nations in the books. We do it next year, number 72 in the USA at Redbud.
Looking forward to it.
Let's hear from our winners then. Team France, they're down there with Lisa Leyland. Oh, Robert Ferrer's got his correct hat on this time around. There was all kinds of confusion this time last year when he started the interview. Oh, I have to get my hat, I have it on my phone somewhere. But Lisa Leyland down there with Roman Fevre. Let's hear what he has to say. A winner for the third year in a row for Fevre. So first time winner for Christophe Charlier, 3 now for Roman Fevre.
Yeah, atmosphere, loving it.
Congratulations, well deserved.
Yeah, atmosphere, loving it.
Congratulations, well deserved.
So we are out of time here, but congratulations to Team France, the three riders there, Christophe Charlier, Gauthier Paulin, and Robert Fevre, team manager Mascalfino. Congratulations to Team apparently, we are going to go down line to speak to Jeffrey Hurlings.
Congratulations, second in a row, second podium, stunning, bittersweet emotions, but you're up there again.
We did a good job as a team, you know, it's disappointing we got second again, but being together with our team, we did a good job. Next year we're going to represent my country again, and very thankful to those guys who put on the box, did all I could do, and second moto especially was struggling with the weather and the vision and stuff, but we did good, our team did good, and we're happy about the box.
Congratulations, great job, thank you.
Right, let's listen to Team GB, Max Anstey, Dean Wilson, Tommy Searle. Of course, they were headed up by the team manager, Mark Chamberlain. Right, Lisa, let's hear from Max and the boys.
Team, you pulled together and you did it. It doesn't get better than this, does it?
No, it's amazing. The boys done well. These boys, everyone pulled it together. I tell you what, Mark's done a great job. Mark Chamberlain, we've really we've had a good week, and it's great to do it here in front of the home crowd. Team GB, we got it on the box.
Yeah, and of course, Max, you got a class win as well.
Oh, this is amazing. I've got a gold plate. I've always wanted one of these. Oh, it's a dream come true. Honestly, it's amazing.
Max was unbelievable, and then Dean rode solid, and then I got one good result that we needed, and I think, yeah, but it's a team effort, but Max was unbelievable.
Thank you. Well deserved. Congratulations, guys.
So congratulations, Team France, Team Netherlands, and those guys right there, Team Great Britain, on the podium for the first time since 1997. We're out of time here. Jeff Emig, thanks for joining us.
It's been a pleasure. What an outstanding effort by these riders on the podium, and another great motocross of nations.
We will see you all again in 2018. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.